everyone. Welcome to our first Q&A on Thursday. And this is specifically all about how we can get all the answers questioned about our branding and about our marketing in a way that is revolutionizing the way we understand marketing and branding. So here's where I'm going to start. In 1994, I'm kidding. So when I started my business in 1994, for real, marketing has been a thing as a part of business. And a lot of it was like promotional items, right? Like where you would pay for advertisement, on the grocery carts or in restaurants, in their menus, or do you guys remember those coupon cards? Yes. Val packs.
Oh, yeah.
So this is how marketing was done for a good while. Well, we are in the age of technology. This is a new sort of a renaissance time. And we're having kind of a conflict of how to market because social media is just a part of our world. It's something you can avoid it all you want, but if you own a business, you're gonna need to use social media. Number one, it's free. Number two, it is the best way to get you out into the global world without having to talk to somebody in China or in London, as their marketing companies would then create visibility for you. So I have my two beautiful friends here. Sandy, she is a limb dwelling radical sales coach who is uber creative. And then Shannon, sisters, if you need branding images, Shannon is the gal. Okay. Now, have I used her yet? Not yet, because my year up isn't. I get new pictures done for my business every year. So Shannon, you're going to get a phone call here pretty soon.
Is she a photographer?
Yes.
Oh.
Andy. So when Jean kind of took a break or is taking a break right now, she's like, go to Shannon. Shannon is
good to know. Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
And you focus on branding image too, right, Shannon? That's really where you're focusing in your business currently, or?
Sorry, I'm muted. So I primarily specialize in women over 40. And I work with women just, doing portraits, but I always include the branding aspect of it. And so what I find is that women over 40 tend to be, kind of women with hats of, all hats, right? So either they're working and then they're doing something on the side, or they have their own business. So they're always in need of beautiful branding photos. So we always include branding, headshots, and things that they can use for their businesses as well. But I've been doing a lot of personal branding for small businesses, both in studio and on location, because it's really important to go on location too, and get, kind of the interaction so people can see you. Yeah. But I always tell people, you are your brand. People come to you, your business, because of you. And so they want to see you. And so I just think it's really, really important to have, pictures that you're proud of.
Yes. And we'll put her info in the comments so you can look at her work, because not everybody's
it's amazing.
Yes. Actually, I enjoy looking at your images. So let's talk about that for a second. How important. So Sandy, let's talk about like where we all started in business, right? And in the corporate world of what images look like back in the 90s, and the importance level back then was kind of like on your business cards, on your pamphlets, on your your brochures. That's
shoulder pads. Yeah.
Right. But image today, ladies, let's be completely honest. Is there any business, no matter if they're selling rubber bands or coaching programs, is there any business that wouldn't need strong, powerful, incredible images of this entrepreneur?
No. It's so important these days. I mean, pictures are worth 1,000 words, right? That's what they always say. And so they actually say it's worth 60,000 words. So people remember you and they
Mhm.
come to your business because of you. And so a good professional headshot, something that's authentic to you and your business is, I think, vital because people, I know when I Google businesses, and somebody's headshot or I go to the about me and it doesn't look professional, I think, oh, maybe they're just starting out or, oh, like
Mm.
maybe their business isn't going well. Maybe I shouldn't go with them because they obviously can't even afford a great photo. So it really does impact, it's your first impression.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so people are very visual and it's unfortunately, it's really, really important, and maybe not fair, but it's super important to always have that and have a variety of
Yeah.
images that you can use in a variety of ways.
What about you, Sandy? What do you think about today's world of business? How important are images?
It's interesting. I mean, I actually started in the business world in the 80s. I mean, I wasn't kidding about shoulder pads. And I worked in advertising and market, and so it was
Yes.
all about advertising in particular. It's like it was all about the look and the crisp and all that stuff. And I think now I agree. I think to me, it isn't so much about this is kind of, I mean, a good picture is amazing. But to
Mhm.
me, I want to see an authentic picture.
Right.
It's not like I just want to see
Yes.
like, hello, and I
Right.
haven't, yes, hello. Yeah. And I actually went to one, she had me doing this and I was like, I don't think this is going to work. And so,
Mhm.
when I did go to Jean, for example, or, if I go work with Shannon, I'm sure I'll work with Shannon in the future. There are pictures because my brand is more playful and light, but with some
Mhm.
depth, and so my pictures reflected that. There's a picture of me sitting in this like tree, and it's really cute. And there's me sipping a
Mhm.
cup of coffee with my logo on it, and it's like it
Mhm.
captured it. So
Yeah.
I would never have ever seen my logo. I would never have used my logo or my logo, let alone my business name 20, 30 years ago, even 10 years,
Yeah.
because I don't think people
Right.
would have taken me serious. And now it's more like, who are you? What are you doing? That's kind of interesting.
Right.
What do you got going there? And that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm noticing. And Shannon, I'm sure it reflects that in what people want, how they want their pictures and how they want,
Yeah.
there's just I just want it to
Right.
capture it
Yeah.
rather
I
than
So
always tell
worry about what
people,
they're going to think. It's more
yeah,
like, how do I feel when I look at that picture? It's like, that's it.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It
So I
needs to
kind of
be with your business and it needs to be
Mhm.
authentic to you. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
I always say authenticity is the biggest thing. Corporate lawyers, picture is going to be a lot different than a
Yes,
coach
it
or
is.
Pilates instructor.
Right.
And it needs to reflect not just your business, but your own personality and what you
Yeah.
exude. And
Yeah.
that's why it's really, more of an experience than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, I'd like to ask you, I know this is Q&A. I'm asking, you're answering Q&A. I'd like to ask you a question because Karen is you have a community of women, and because of the app, images do matter. Because when we're talking image, ladies and gentlemen, this is branding.
Mhm.
Branding is
Mhm.
currently what's considered your electronic portfolio,
Mm.
right? When you meet people anywhere and you tell them your business, sometimes people don't have business cards. Where they go to immediately to your social media, and they look at who you're interacting with, how
Yep.
you're showing up in the world. And Karen talks a lot about that, especially in the community she has built. How do you feel about images and the importance of it?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I'm a very visual person, so I like to see things, the story told in pictures.
Mm.
Mm,
So even when we are telling the stories of women in our hashtag celebrating 1 million women, I made sure that we had some quotes in there, and that we had the picture of the woman because we need to know who she is and what.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
But they also had to be very authentic because that was that when you're telling someone's story,
Yeah.
it's gotta be about them. But yet the branding it, but it still all has to be a similar feel to it.
Mhm.
Mm,
It's gotta get, the whole thing has to be like one big story, and it can be different images or whatever, but the authentic pieces need to be authentic, and the professional pieces need to be the professional pieces to take you to the marketplace or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's all cohesive. And what's the whole big picture look like?
I love how you sort of separated this idea of like professional pictures, you know, the real estate pictures, and then what Sandy's talking about, more of the, this is me, I'm fun, I'm light, because we do need.
I'm not just fun and light. I just want to be, I'm
Right.
professional.
Right. No, but I'm saying like we
cheesy.
have to incorporate both of those together,
Yeah.
right? In order for people to really get the feel of who we are. Because let me just ask you a question, and you just raise your hand. Have you ever purchased a product that meant something to you from someone you didn't like? Right. No hands. Right?
I'm like,
And how many times have you repurchased something like candles or makeup from people you do, even if it's at the counter? How many people have
Yeah.
done? Right.
yeah, absolutely.
And we talk about that in business all the time. We buy from people we know, like, and trust. But
Yeah.
how do we do that? How do we do? And I think all three of you hit the mark. Authenticity is vital. Seeing the real version of you, even through images, right? And then having the balance of professional and your fun, quirky personality. That is literally the description of brand. If you look up the word branding in business, that's how it's described, right? That there's that balance of the professional version, knowing that you're an expert in your field, and then also having the playful part of you that is the authentic version of you. So now let's get to the next question that's everybody asks. How do you do that online? How does that work online?
I tell this to all my clients. The first thing I ask them is go to your Instagram and look at your posts. Usually we post about our customer experience, or, you know, like for me, I post a lot about the clients that I have, you know, show amazing photos of my clients. But the photos that I post of myself skyrocket and have way more engagement than the photos that I show of my clients. So what I tell people is go to your Instagram and look at that. You know, I was working with a dance instructor the other day, and she was like, oh, I don't really want, you know, pictures. I know I need to do it. And I said, well, let me go to your Instagram. And I said, oh, wow, the picture of you has 150, you know, engagement or likes, and all your other pictures have like 5 or 6. I said, you are your brand. People want to see you. They want to do business with you, whether you like it or not. That's how you show up. And so even if, and this is kind of funny, but even if, like, I just got back from the gym, I had no idea we were going to be on camera. So even if if I showed up like this and I did a live, you know, on my Instagram, it would get probably way more engagement than a beautiful photograph of a stunning woman that I just took pictures of, because people want and come to my Instagram or come to my social media because of me, whether I like it or not. And so I think that having multiple aspects of yourself, showing like, hey, this is me. I just got back from the gym and I'm just, you know, want to talk to you about XYZ, or here's what I'm doing. People are interested in that. And then having a beautiful profile picture, a picture that you need for your newsletter, a picture you need for a speaking engagement, something for LinkedIn. All those things are different. So Sandy would use something for her, you know, maybe sit on a Sunday, she would have the sipping on the coffee, you know, hey guys, you know, it's Sandy, you know, I'm just hanging out on a Sunday, you know, just wanted to say hi or whatever. And then maybe, you know, working with the client would be another post, but having all those different aspects of yourself and showing people who you are is vital. It's vital, and it's changing. It didn't used to be like that. Like Sandy said before, especially with women, I think we always wanted to be behind the scenes. And so now it's like, it's okay to, you know, to be your brand. It's okay to be a strong woman doing business
that goes to the gym,
being successful.
That goes to the
gym. Goes to the gym. Yeah.
That gets sweaty.
Sweaty. It's okay,
you know,
to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
I didn't mean to jump on you.
Nope.
Go ahead, Sandy.
No, it's such a good topic. It's because I didn't, you know, with social media, I guess what I'm trying to say is when I have coached people, you know, around sales and marketing, all that good stuff, you know, what's getting in the way, it's always like, it's out there. It's like they're doing this and they're, you know, it's, you know, I have to get there, you know, a lot of like, it's way out there. And the thing that I've noticed for me, especially in this last year, is that I have a very and we're using social media, I have a very different reaction and relationship with social media now, because I've done series, but they're more about what I've been going through with my life. And I've
Mhm.
realized that that's who I am. I'm not really a big fan, and this isn't, there's no right or wrong or anything. I'm not a big fan of hearing, what somebody's doing on their day, their daily thing. That's just me. I kind of want to find out what's intriguing. I want to find out about them.
Mhm.
And social media for me has been fun. Not fun. I kind of feel like, I think I've said this to you, Karen, if I'm not feeling it, I don't do it. And I
Right.
always have. I love it when I go to social media because it's their brand. It's a theme. There's a theme that's going
Right.
on.
But
So
And
it's
I
just
love
kind
what
of,
you just said, Sandy, because I think that's what women in business need to hear when they're having this overwhelmed feeling, oh my God, I gotta get on social media.
I
Oh, I
got to
gotta
get
do
out
videos.
there. Yes.
Right. But I like what you said, like when you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. You don't, yes, is there a structure if you want to get as many people viewing you as there is a structure of that type of marketing promotion, right? But what Shannon's talking about is getting to know the person. And that, I mean, when you were doing your videos going through your cancer, I mean, the engagements and
Yeah.
people, because now they're recognizing the real person
Yeah.
outside of this professional
Yeah.
space. What about you, Karen? How are you seeing, what has social media done for you?
Lately.
So this is kind of an interesting topic, and Sandy, about what you were talking about. I had a conversation with a woman earlier today. Is corporate. She actually was a VP at a company and did worked with the sales teams and things like that. But what she was talking about, even in showing up in that atmosphere, was what matters. And you talked about people seeing you, and it's at that deeper level. It's
Mm,
up, this is what I'm doing or whatever. It's about things that we actually care about caring about that person. Those are the things that matter.
yes.
And so that's
Yeah.
thing, I think, for myself, where I connect with other humans on social media, and hopefully they connect with us too, is when we start talking about some things that are a little bit deeper.
Yes.
You have to create a safe space for that. You can't just go.
Right. Mhm.
I think there's a kind of a maybe a finesse to it or something. I hope.
Yes.
I think it's a new trend of how we're going. I think after COVID, people are like, no, you know what? I really want things that matter and that are important to me.
Hmm.
But
And
I
I
think it
think,
goes to
okay,
authenticity, right? It goes, Sandy
right, the
touched on
deep
that. We all
level
talk
of
about
that.
that. I think that's the major theme here is that, like, was Karen was just touching on, if somebody's coming across and they're just going through the motions and it's not authentic
Hmm.
and it's not coming across authentic, then you're going to pick up on that, right? You're like, oh, well, she's trying to act friendly, but I think she's just trying to sell me something, maybe, or whatever it is, right? And I think that, because during the pandemic, we all got online and this was the only way that we talked with each other. I think that it then became, oh, wait, you can make connections through social
Hmm.
media. You can make connections that are real. The friends that I do have on social media are actually, even though I've never met them, I just had a woman reach out to me today because I too, Sandy, had cancer, and she saw I was, because I'm losing my insurance. And so for the first time, right, I'm going to have like, I have to buy insurance that I've never had to do because I always had it through Microsoft or whatever the business I was working in. And so I was complaining that it was going to cost my husband and I, said husband, older husband, like $3,000 a month just to have insurance. Right. And
Mm.
so I'm like flipping out about it because I, have to get scans all the time. So I need it. And so I just had one of my Facebook friends, another photographer, reach out and just said, oh my gosh, Shannon, I just saw your post. I have uterine cancer, stage 4. And so I said, let's hop on the phone. I got on the phone with her. I met her once in person, but I mean, it's basically a Facebook friend. So,
Hmm.
is that a true friendship? I think so. I was able to hop on the phone and connect with her. So I think that, you know, um, it's kind of evolved, like Sandy said, you
Mm.
know, and as long as we show up with our authentic selves, then people will resonate. That doesn't mean that you like everybody authentically, you
Right.
know, right?
That's
But the
good.
people that you
Right.
connect with are going to feel authentic and are going to feel like friends, whether you've met them in person or not. And I don't think that it's necessary to, it's like a pen pal, right? You know,
Yeah.
you felt like you knew people. And so I think that it's okay to feel like you know people through social media and it's not fake as long as you're showing up your
Right.
authentic self, then it is
Right.
real.
Right.
Can I just, I know you probably have more questions, but I was going
No,
to
no,
say,
go.
I was going to say, the thing I think that's also changed, because I've had to change. I mean, I sold I sold the look. That's what I did, right? And
Mm.
then life changed a few times and I changed. And then I started noticing what was going on. And what I've noticed now is that the difference between how I used to market myself before and how I do it now is I'm talking to a woman who is this age, who's doing, you know, which is always about your target
Mhm.
audience and all that. But it goes a little bit deeper than that too. So it's like some of the stuff that I just don't have to appeal to everyone. I guess that's
Right.
the freedom. I don't have to appeal
Right.
to everyone, you know. And
With
if
Right.
age
somebody,
comes wisdom, Sandy.
Yeah.
thank
Right.
you, but I
And
have a lot of
experiences.
wisdom.
And experiences too.
Yeah.
Karen had an event last Saturday where one of the persons that showed up that was on stage, I never met her in real life. Like I've been chatting with her on Zoom and, you know, in other forums, but we've never met. But what's interesting is that her authenticity drove a little bit deeper because I had known her. So as the audience is listening to this, I know you're all thinking like, yeah, this sounds amazing. But what does this have to do with business, making money, and marketing? All of that kind of lines up, right? When you have a business, the measurement of it is how much income you're having, and how you get that income is how you market. So we're all talking about authenticity and being real and being honest and connecting. Is that an experience you've had in marketing language before where we talk about connection and authenticity?
No,
Right.
no.
So it's changed dramatically in that way. Because let me ask each one of you ladies, how many products or services, like especially high-end products and services, do you purchase that isn't centered around connection, authenticity, right? Like
I mean, are you
things
talking
that
about laundry soap? Or are you talking about?
no, I'm not
Okay.
talking about like the basics, like the
Yeah.
things that we're selling, services,
Ah,
right? Like Shannon's photography. None of it is really tangible. Even Karen's community, right? It's not really a tangible thing. You're not going to get like a shower curtain or a shower head or, you know, a phone case. You're
or
getting
product.
something that's intangible. And this is where really women are struggling marketing this intangible, because what we've known to market is you're doing it this way. You got to put it, da, 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 da. But what you ladies are talking about is authenticity and connection, all of these things that are also intangible.
Well, I think
So
that
tell me about
people,
that.
I used
for
to sell
me,
air.
yeah,
Oh,
I did too.
you did too? You worked in radio?
I worked in telecom.
Oh
We
God,
sold
we have to,
minutes.
oh, we have to talk. I sold freaking air and I sold public
Sold
radio
minutes.
air. It's like, hello. And it was always, you know, it's funny you were talking about this. It was always about the community and the connection. That's what the whole sales thing, you know, or the conversation was always about. And it wasn't because we couldn't compete with, the big boys and the big ad agencies and all that stuff. And we, you know, but it was like, that's really interesting. I'm really glad you brought that up because it's
Yeah,
everything's intangible when you really think about it.
right.
I
Well, it's
think,
been a struggle with a lot of
yeah,
women that come to, to my marketing and branding classes because they want it a specific way. And the assumption is the strategy I come up with is the magic pill that's going to get everybody in front of them. But
Mm.
really, truly, that's just a structure for your authenticity to show up and the connection to show up.
That's
What
so
I
hard
have
with that.
is the pair of jeans. You
Yeah.
have to fit in the jeans, right? So
I
tell me
think
more about you.
for me, and I talk to women about this all the time. I always tell them, I can take amazing, beautiful pictures of you that you're going to love. I know I can do that. That's what I do. but it's about the time that we spend together. So I spend time talking to you. The first time, we meet, we talk. I get back on the phone with you before you come and shoot with me. We meet and we talk. And I tell people I had 35 years of working in tech that was very unfun. I do not want to have 5 hours of unfun with you. It has to be fun. And so, the time that we spend together, the experience that we have, that's what you're paying for. I'm going to deliver you amazing, beautiful photos that you're going to be able to use for your business, for your personal. I hope you put them on the wall. Hope you look at them. I hope your children, fight over them when you're gone. But those pictures are a reminder of the experience that you and I will have together.
Oh, I
And
love
when
that.
people leave, I always tell them, how did it go? What are you thinking? Because they're always so nervous when they come. And they always say, oh my God, that was so much fun. I can't believe it. It was so much fun. I just loved it. And I always say then, job well done. To me, it's about the experience that we give people. And with my business, it's about letting women feel seen and then listening to them. My husband always says, I can't believe what these women tell you. And I'm like, because I share too, right?
Yeah.
So like Sandy and
Oh,
I
yeah.
would probably talk about our cancer treatments, right? And by the time she left, I would know everything about like all that, ins and
In the
outs, right?
bathroom line.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
totally. So I mean,
Well,
just
yeah.
connect with people, but that's about human connection. And for me, as a person that worked in engineering that was not an engineer, I had to connect with people. That was the only way I survived, because I couldn't compete technically. So I had to compete, by connections, right?
Humanness, the
Human
humanness
nature.
of
Yeah.
it all.
And for me,
So-
that's what it's all about.
That's really fascinating, especially in your industry, and then Sandy in sales. But Karen is in a community, like she isn't a one-on-one. It is a one-to-many environment. How does that play out? How does this whole authentic marketing, connection marketing, attraction? Well, I don't even like to use attraction marketing, because how does that work in a one-to-many?
Wow. Yeah. So what is so interesting? So in a community, I mean, I'm creating a space for people to show up.
Mm,
No, I'm creating that safe space for people to show up authentically if they choose to.
mm,
Here's the big key.
Interesting.
You have to choose to show up,
that's
and
good.
also choose how you want to show up. Are you just there um, to sell, or are you there to
Right.
partake in the experience, like Shannon was talking about? It's really the experience, and
So
it's
how
that.
are you seeing a difference in people who come in? Sorry to cut you off, but I'm really curious about that. When people come in with the intention of selling, or people to come in for the experience, are you seeing a difference?
Huge, huge.
Mm,
It is night and day, literally, because some people I think who come in to sell are coming there. They think that I am maybe the magic pill that they're going to get sold.
because you have a lot of women in your group,
And
right?
all these people.
Right.
Yeah.
That come off as authentic, because are to talk at you rather than to build a relationship and talk with you. And women who are coming there for the experience of growing and creating and flourishing in business, and in that growth piece for what we have in our biz chats, those are the ladies who really do business together, because they
Yes.
trust each other, they learn about each other, they learn more in depth why they do what they do and how it's going to help them.
Yes.
So it's a big difference, actually. Yeah, they got to come.
So yeah. So ladies, we're talking directly to all of you business owners. These are we're all business owners, every single one of us here, and we're all in different industries, but we're all saying the same thing when it comes to marketing. It's not enough to have a strategy and a plan. That's fantastic. But without authenticity and connection and friendships and community, we're just selling all day long. And what we learned from Sandy is sales isn't even what we think it is. It's really connecting.
I was going to say too, it's so interesting. I mean, I think all of us at some point have had, someone said about the magic pill. And if I just have the right words, if I just have, because it's so overwhelming when you're either starting a business or the thrill is gone and now it's a job, like you're out there
You
and
gotta grow, yeah.
you got to pay the bills.
You're grinding.
You're
Yeah.
grinding, you got to keep
Yeah.
the lights on, you know. And I think I love the message that you're giving, because it's like there's like this manual that I didn't get. Like everybody else, nobody gets it. None of us get it. We don't. None of us. There are people that
Right.
are in business. Like I remember I worked with a woman that she said, I did that. But I found out later I couldn't, they told me that couldn't be done. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I just did it. And I mean, it was this huge project, like somebody that knew shouldn't have been able to do it. And they were all, and it completely shifted things. But I love that story because it's like, there is no secret manual. There aren't the perfect
Right.
words. It's
I want the manual.
we all want the
I want the
manual.
manual.
I know there's, if you go
Where's
to
the manual?
go to Amazon and you can get about 700,000 of them. You know, it's just like, depends on the flavor, you
Yes.
know. But so I really
Yes.
appreciate that when we talk about authenticity, it's not like, okay, let's put this on. It's like, you know, start there. Remember
Yeah.
why you
Right.
decided to do what you wanted to do.
Right.
Put that somewhere. Just remind yourself of that.
Yeah. So let me ask one last question before we get to a close, because I think the other piece that people are looking for in this Q&A of brand and marketing is what is it and how do you do it? So each one of you have a different industry that you are in business. So Shannon, for you, when you're talking about brand image and for a business owner and marketing, with the intention of this connection and authenticity, what's the one thing someone can do right now?
You know, I think similar to what I used to tell people about parenting, you show up. You show up. You know, I think that,
That's
you know,
it.
for me, you know, with Sandy was talking, I started kind of my business full time when I was working full time at Microsoft. So I was trying to do two things. So I was like, okay, in order for me to like hit the ground running, I need to do things. So I literally did 2 full-time jobs, working at Microsoft during the day and then photography on the weekends and at night. And then, you know, I was like, oh, wow, I can totally do this. And then and I think we talked about this wonderful. So then the first year in 2023, things were going gangbusters, you know? And so I was like, oh my God, I have to like figure out how to maybe work less this year, especially because of my health, and make more money per, you know, client. Like, you know, like there's got to be a balance there. And then it was like crickets. And I'm like, oh my God, crickets. What happened? I thought it was amazing. Why isn't everybody knocking down my door? What's going on? You know, and I realized
Right.
that, you know, and I knew that it was like, as a new business owner, even to, you know, to see like, and, you know, like you and I did the podcast last year, wonderful. And I see your emails and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I gotta, you know, like check, I gotta do the wonderful thing. And I've got this other networking group that's up north, but they're so far. So it's hard for me because I'm in Kirkland. And then, you know, so it's like you've got all these things to do. I finally went to my first, after a year, went to my first Chamber of Commerce meeting. You know, so it's like, it's sometimes hard when you're, because I could sit at my computer, literally, I can edit all day. I can, you know, answer emails. I can fix my website. I can do Facebook ads. I can respond, you know, so I can, and that's what I'm used to doing because I was at Microsoft. So I used to sitting at all day in my thing, but it's literally reminding and remembering that whether it's like this online or in person, to get out there and really connect with people, and not be afraid to do so. And I think that if you go into it with, you know, I'm not going to go to my Chamber of Commerce meeting trying to sell all the chamber people on headshots. That's not what my goal is. My goal is to listen and to meet people and just to get to know people really, and to connect with people. And I think through that, which is I think what Karen was talking about too, and Sandy touched on with authenticity, that you more you start talking to people about what you do, you're kind of gaining that trust, and I need things too. So, you know, I'll remember that, like, oh my God, Sandy does that coaching stuff. Like, I can call her up. Like, I totally need, you know, Karen's got this, you know, other thing where, you know, I can learn about that. And I've already, as we're talking, I just sent both of you messages, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, these people are
Yes,
amazing.
this
Oh,
is
that's
it.
And
you.
so,
Oh, cool.
so I mean, it's just about connecting
Yeah.
and meeting people.
Yeah.
And if you're
I like
not,
what you said.
if you're
Show
not
up.
show up, and if you're not a person, and I'm, you know, fairly outgoing, especially in smaller groups, but if it's not your happy place, like, you know, like I had a makeup artist and she's like, I don't really like my clients. I don't like people. And I was like, you are in the wrong business.
Right.
Right.
Be honest with
She's like, I
that.
like what I do. She goes, but I don't like talking to them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could talk people's ear off, obviously. But but I think it's really about connecting with people, and you
Right.
have to be authentic about that. So so at Microsoft, when I was saying, hey Bob, how was your son's soccer game last weekend? I played soccer. So I'm like, we're watching soccer. How was your son's soccer game this weekend? I gave a shit. I cared.
Right.
I wanted to
Right.
hear how a soccer game was. So I was like, hey, Karen, how was your trip to, you know, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
you know, and not thinking, okay, check, tick. I asked her how her job thing went, tick. Okay, now I can ask her to spend money with me. It's like, no, that's not what this
Yeah.
is about. This is actually about meeting people, authentically connecting with them, and really caring about people. And everything
you
else,
for
I think,
that.
falls into place.
I think that's a great suggestion for all of, actually it's past suggestion, ladies. Listen, all that bro marketing stuff, it works, but does it really work for us though? That's what we're really saying. So Sandy, let's hear your take on what our audience can do right now in terms of brand and marketing.
One of the things, it's kind of my little secret, I think my what do they, special sauce or whatever,
Secret
whatever
sauce.
them young kids are talking about these days. But one of the things that just lights me up and I love doing, I love working with people for them to get really clear about their elevator spiel, which sounds like people are like, oh, elevator spiel. But here's the thing. It's not like a pitch. It's like, this
Right.
is who I am. Because the one thing that people that people bypass is that they'll get the computers, they'll get ads, they'll do everything, you know, and they'll do, it's kind of like my little sister used to say, people spend more time thinking about their flowers than they do about their wedding vows. You know, and the wedding vows are the thing that it's going to get you through when
Wow.
times are rough.
Right.
So if there was anybody there that's listening to this, you know, you don't have to go to someone like me. You can just go and spend some time thinking about why you started doing this business. What was it about you that pulled you forward? Just start thinking that way. You don't have to have it perfect. You can put it in you can talk to your friends and you guys can smooch it up and make it sound really snappy, or not even snappy. When you open your mouth, right? Does it feel good?
Right.
And last, I'll just say, I got my top client, I think, ever in the line at QFC. I was talking to this woman and she said, so what do you do? Because that's back when we used to talk in grocery stores when they're, you know,
Right.
and I just said, well, I do this. And I was so passionate about it because my business partner, I had just come up with like this next phase we were doing. I said, and we can point here. And she starts laughing and she goes, I know someone, they're looking for this. And this woman, it turned out it was an international gig. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
So,
right.
And that wasn't coming like, oh, I'm going to pitch somebody at QFC. It was because I felt like I knew I was doing what I was doing.
In the produce aisle.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
oh man, and you can
simple.
see those a million miles away too,
Oh,
right? The
and
pictures.
it's like, don't make it hard. Don't make it
Yeah.
hard. Just put your little kid hat on and think about play with it. Like, why did I leave Microsoft and decide to be a photographer? You know,
right?
wonderful. Why did I decide to turn my business way? Faith,
I love that.
with our beloved, you know, Karen. What was it? She's got 1 million women. You know,
Right.
it's like that's the thing that moves us forward. Don't spend money on another business coach. Just like keep it simple. Just remember why you did that, and then go out and do it. And if it's the first time you said it, say, hey, can I ask you, will you just
Right.
listen to this? I mean, seriously, have fun with it. Did that make sense? Because the first,
Yeah.
people
I mean,
are
even
like,
the way you're saying it, you're so passionate about it. We're like, yeah, yes, that's it.
"Ah." So that's what I'd recommend.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
awesome.
you so much for that. And
Yeah.
Karen, you hear, because you work with a lot of business women, you hear a lot of pitches, a lot of our
Oh, yeah.
truth and the vulnerability and the authenticity. Based on all this experience of being around so many women who do this for a living, what do you see as the most effective marketing and brand strategy based on that?
Wow. That's a big question. I'm not really, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I think one of the things that I have been trying myself lately, and it's something that I've kind of identified working with you, and some pieces of working with Sandy actually, and that's the beauty of our community, is that we've got all these experiences to draw from. And then maybe that is the thing, is to be able to draw from the things that work and don't work for people. But one of the
That's
things that
good.
I think I've picked up lately is that even going live, or you're going to write a post or whatever it is, really picture that person, that one, your best ever client,
Mm-hmm.
that person that you have worked with us so much on working, who is your avatar and on that, and really talking to that one person. So when you're going live,
Mm-hmm.
you're not talking to the crowd, you're talking to that
Right.
one person. What does that look like? And from Sandy, it's be curious. Be curious
Mm-hmm.
as to who they are, and come from that place of curiosity. That's really helped me, and that's something that I'm really trying to put into practice. And that's it. It takes practice. It just, you
Right.
have to keep showing up, like Shannon was saying, you have to keep showing up. You have to show up often, because you're not going to get it right the first time. Give
Right.
yourself grace around
Yeah.
that. But the key again is to show up.
Right. And I love that. And I just want to make one more point for that. I mean, God, we could talk for another hour on here, but we can't. However, is what I love, again, I've not worked with Shannon, but I know her work, and she's comes highly recommended by somebody. I love her work. And what I love about all of this conversation is, like, Karen, you get in front of real people, and real people get in front of you. And Sandy, you're really helping people walk through the language of connection. But Shannon has a unique where she has to take a still photo and represent the emotional truth of that human being.
Right.
And although images are the most important aspect of our businesses currently, because of the world we live in, technology, and that's where people are gauging whether they even like you for the first 30 seconds, it's really important to match with a person who can create images that's the truth of you. It's not just about pictures, y'all. Listen, that's not about that. And it's the same with the lives. You don't just go up because you have to, because it's a Tuesday and I said I would be. Right? It's really about that honest truth. And I know I'm promoting the crap out of Shannon right now, but because I really love her work. And I think that's
appreciate
really
it.
important for us to, when we're talking about sales, Sandy isn't talking about sales, she's talking about the connection of the human language. And with Karen, it's about the energy. Energetically, when you walk into the room she has created, is it the right fit for you? This is the new world of marketing. This is the new way we brand. This is it right here. So thank you, ladies, so
Wow,
much.
thank
This is
you.
Thank you. So good to
this
meet
is
you guys.
You
yeah.
too. Come to
Yeah, it was
think.
awesome. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Shannon, I'm pretty sure everybody in there would, especially because Jean and you are highly connected together. But
I
also
know,
I
I
want to
just talked to
say
her.
we'll be back next Tuesday. I mean, we all four of us can come back again. It's free. You can come here. It's Q&A. It's for us to really share our truths about where we are in business, how we move forward in business, and why it looks different today, and why we need to do it together. So
I
Excellent.
love that.
thank you.
Awesome, Mike.
Thanks for putting
That's-
this. That was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. Thanks,
Q&A
wonderful.
Thursday. Thank you so much, ladies. Until
Okay,
next
Bye, you
time.
guys.
Stay on for a second. Would you wait? You have to stop recording. Are you still?
Yeah. And get off of